Okay, so I'm going to be filming like a series about why I believe that Jesus is the one true and living God revealed to us in human flesh. Part of this video is going to be biblical examples, so, circular reasoning, why Christians believe that Jesus is God. And then I'm also going to do a section about secular, historical, hostile corroborations of why Jesus is believed to be God, why he was believed to have been crucified, and why he is believed to have been resurrected, which is crucial to him being deity, right? It's crucial to his divinity and to his fulfillment of prophecy. So, we're going to just start with that, preface. Okay, so a couple in biblical text examples as to why I believe that Jesus is God revealed to us in the scriptures specifically is John 1:1-3, which says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made." Later in that passage, it also says that the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, speaking of Jesus. So, with that in mind, point 1, Jesus accepted praise and worship. He did not rebuke Thomas when Thomas poked his hand into his spear wound and said, "My Lord and my God." He did not rebuke that. He accepted praise and worship. Point 2, Jesus claimed he was pre-existent with the Father. "I and the Father are one. If you have seen me, you have seen the Father." All of these examples of God, he's saying, I am God, me and the Father are one. I knew him before, so, okay. Point 3, Jesus forgave sins. The reason that this is so crucial to understanding what Jesus was trying to convey to us is that forgiving sins was specifically set aside by the Jewish leadership as an act of something only God could do. So that's why when he forgave sins, they were like, "What are you doing? On what authority do you do those things?" And they even picked up stones to stone him for blasphemy at one point. I'll insert verses. Zechariah 12:10, a prophetic example as to God, Jesus, dying on the cross, and this is revealed to us in the Old Testament. So let me read it to you because it's really amazing. Okay, so we are in Zechariah 12:10. I am reading out of the ESV, but any version should work besides the NWT. Don't read the NWT, throw it in the trash. Okay. So, "And I will pour out on the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and pleas for mercy, so that when they look on me, on him whom they have pierced, they shall mourn for him as one mourns for an only child, and weep bitterly over him as one weeps over a firstborn." This is God the Father in the Old Testament speaking in the first person about him being pierced and about the Israelites weeping over his death. And of course, John 8:58, which Jesus says, "Before Abraham was, I am." He took on the divine name of God, Yahweh, and called himself that. And they picked up stones to kill him for blaspheming against God. Context matters, people. Context matters. So those are biblical reasons, in text reasons, why I believe that Jesus was claiming to be God, that he had God's authority. But I am going to provide secular historical reasons as to why I believe that Jesus is God. So the first reason is that Jesus was dead. He was dead. He was not taking a nap. He was not faking. He was dead. And the Journal of American Medical Association said Jesus had to have been dead before the side wound was inflicted. Of course, we know that the side wound, him being punctured with the spear, was evidence, external evidence that Jesus was dead. The blood and the water were separate. But yeah, the Journal of American Medical Association, go look this up. I might be able to link a source, I might forget though. But yeah, Journal of American Medical Association. An atheistic scholar, Garrett Ludman, says that Jesus' crucifixion or death by crucifixion is indisputable. An atheist, a hostile source to Jesus, does say that his death is indisputable. Alright, early reports of the resurrection within the 1st century, which is crucial. And I will provide a few of these examples. I'm not going to go into great detail just for the sake of this video, but go read them for yourself. Like, don't take my word for it. Go read it for yourself, especially if you're a Christian, because I feel like a lot of Christians are unprepared to make a defense for this. And I know, like, we believe that the crucifixion happened, we believe that the resurrection happened, but we need to know why we believe those things. We can't just be blindly following our faith. Like, we need to know why we believe these things. And Paul even said, be astute, be ready to make a defense for your faith at all times. All right, an empty tomb. Obviously, right? All right, eyewitness accounts. This is an obvious one. All the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the four Gospels, eyewitness accounts. There's some debate surrounding that, so I'll probably do a video in the future on that. But I find them to be reliable, and even if they were like secondary eyewitness accounts, it really wouldn't make that much of a difference. Saul becoming Paul is a great testimony to the power of Jesus and the impact that his resurrection was making on the world. Saul was killing Christians, literally hunting them down and murdering them for being Christians. But he had an encounter with Jesus. He lost his eyesight for a few days and came back Paul. And literally made one of the biggest impacts on Christian history out of all people. So that in itself is a huge testimony to the reliability of the resurrection accounts. All right, secular historical evidences. Now, I know this is getting kind of long, so I'm going to make it short and sweet, but these are hostile evidences, right? These are not people that have any stake in the game. Like, actually, most of them are against Jesus, and you'll see this, like, with Pliny the Younger, because he was basically asking, like, what do I do with these Christians? Like, should I kill them? Should I imprison them? So, hostile resources, right? Josephus and the Antiquities of the Jews. I would specifically read the Arabic script because there's some like nuance to those things, but yeah, Josephus. A Jewish person, by the way, against Jesus. The Jews crucified Jesus. Tacitus and the Annals. This is a great one as well. Honestly, Tacitus might be one of our stronger cases. Celsius, Lucian, Marabar Serapion, who also quotes, I believe it's about Plato, so interesting, and Pliny the Younger. So all of these resources talk about Jesus existing in one way or another. I will probably talk about an excerpt from Tacitus. I think I'm going to pull up Tacitus, just because I can't go over all of them today, but maybe I'll do another video on it. But yeah, go read these for yourself. They don't prove that Jesus resurrected. I don't feel like you can really prove that historically, because yes, you can say that people believe that he resurrected, and they clearly did because they went to their deaths believing it. However, it's not really evidence for the resurrection being like a solid case. But I believe it because not only do secular historical resources corroborate that Jesus was crucified, but they also corroborate that his followers believed he had resurrected and they died for it. So for me, that's a strong enough case to see, like, why would these people die for something that they know is a lie? And that's another reason that, like, the disciples stealing the body is such an asinine claim, because if they knew that they had formulated this whole psyop and they knew that Jesus wasn't going to actually die, and somehow they made that possible when he was crucified, he didn't really die, and then they stole his body, like, why would they go to their deaths for it? You're not going to die for a lie that you know is a lie. You're going to die for a lie that you believe is true. Does that make sense? So even if it wasn't true and Jesus' resurrection didn't happen, the disciples clearly still believed that it was the truth.